Hello?
Hi, is this Mark Wood?
Who's calling?
This is Dustin Wilmus from KMSU Radio in Minnesota.
Dustin. Okay, right. And I answered your email about this last week. And basically, what do you need to know? I'm ready to just let you know whatever I can.
Awesome. Well, Mark, first, Lakeside, of course, alive and well, and I know you're still the captain, so I wanted to ask you, if you could tell the listeners a bit about the new Lakeside, Mark Wood's Lakeside.
Well, Mark Wood, no S. It's a derivative, Mark out of Wood Jr., the original songwriter and singer on all 9 live, I should say studio albums, and the live albums. And that is my, situation. The group now is a refurbish of people from the land of funk and people that have grew up on this music. And from Dayton, Ohio, I'm very fortunate to have guys still from the general area that I grew up with. So when I had the difficulties having the trademark and the official trademark of Lakeside, and now since 2008, what I decided to do during this period was go back to Dayton, get the best of the musicians like I did when we first started when we were little kids, because I grew up in that type of situation. Ohio players were right, Full House was down across the street, Sun was across the street from them. What eventually became these various bands, and so I didn't feel pressured at all because I knew I could go where people were, going to college on this stuff, all the time.
Yeah, it's incredible. You mentioned all the people that came out of Ohio, producing all these amazing bands. What is it about that area? Is it just something in the water? Or?
Well, we thought we grew up thinking it was like that everywhere. When I talked to other musicians, I had a great mentor, Junie Morrison, Walter Morrison, which his tie to funk music is undeniable between what he did with the Ohio Players for the early Ohio Players, Pain, Pleasure, and Ecstasy to One Nation Under a Groove and Underwater Boogie Baby for Clinton, and all that. But, in high school, we were the understudy singing group to their singing group in high school. And we went to contests, state contests, and everything together. So, very looked up to quite a bit as a kid in terms of his ability to play various instruments, do all of these things, and all the songwriting. So a lot, came from Dayton. So my roots were very important to me from the beginning, and still is, no doubt. But the group, when it comes to the group, it is as funky as anything you want to see. I kind of want to call them something else in a way because they could play vastly much more stuff than the rudimentary funk that we play, but have really brought themselves into a place where they will play and can play this functional rudimentary style of playing to make it, because that's what works about it. If you play too much, it's not going to work. It's just the way it is. It's a lock that has to be developed with folk music. So we've been just having a ball playing, with everybody and playing in a lot of the nice places across the country, all over the country, coast to coast, and looking to do much, much more. Ready to come back your way again, as a matter of fact.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great that you're out there still doing it. And I know you've been there since day one with Lakeside. I mean, you must be seeing all sorts of folks in the audiences these days.
Well, yes, that's the beauty. Lakeside is more or less a community of artists. We've had so many different people that have been support to us over the years. Like I just saw Larry, who was with us for a few years, during our overseas times, going to Japan and a lot of those type of shows where Larry Bolton was a big part of that, and he did one video with us, Money. And those were later albums, like Power and another album after that. But our early albums was consistent with, you know, the guys that came from Dayton originally and went to California back in '72. But we had recorded with Chicago, Eddie Thomas from Hurt Time Records in Chicago. Prior to that, and also with Frank Wilson, and that's where our first release came from out when we first got to California. And that was when we recorded with Motown, and then we went to ABC. And ABC is where we got our first release, got on the charts the first time with the Lakeside album with a single called If I Didn't Have You, a ballad. That was we was working about the same time. Lenny Williams was working with him, and we were even doing background on songs like I Love You for Lenny Williams and other songs like that back in those days. But we just had a wonderful time going to self-containment, which was the key to what happened with us. I think self-containment as far as our songwriting, Mr. Griffey, who had already had recorded one song, Happy Holidays to You, for the Whispers, which is the first song on Solar Records, actually a Solar Records. And the title cut of the Whispers' first holiday album, Christmas album. And, you know, that was the single. But after that, they decided that we would guarantee us at least half our album, we would be able to write half our songs at least. And we ended up writing the whole first album, Sound of Love. And that took off for us in terms of being able to kind of chart our own course a little bit musically.
Yeah, you guys definitely were on a roll for a long time. And I got to ask you, not only the album's great, but the covers as well. I loved, you know, the genies and the pirates and the cowboys. That stuff was great.
Yeah, our motifs were very, really, I wish we could take all the credit for it, but it was like, how are you going to get 9 guys on an album, on a album and make it make any sense? And sitting up brainstorming with Dick Griffey, he really thought of that idea that maybe we could, you know, put them in some type of groups. And the first one was the Robin Hood and the Merry Men, more or less, with old school scrolls and things like that. Merry Old Gentlemen and all that stuff. You know? And that was and that began it. And I think he really liked it a lot, so he had a painting made of the second one. I think Rough Riders, when we were all cowboys. And with that, we would always do authentic stuff, and that was to go to the movie lot and really, with the movie lot, go to, you know, get the authentic stuff, and that's where that really picked up at. And from there, we just kind of grew with that idea, you know, because I think the next one was Fantastic Voyage. After that, with at the same time, these, I think Fantastic Voyage was the next one. But then we had a little budget, so we were out on Catalina Island, you know, or out Catalina with the pirate ship and the authentic gear, and, you know, so we would have a ball making these album covers, man, no question about it.
Well, and Mark, you mentioned Fantastic Voyage. I know that was a big hit for you guys, and I wanted to get your sense of when you heard Coolio and his take on it. I mean, that kind of brought you guys right back, you know, into the forefront there. Yes,
you know, I always appreciated Coolio's version, and you know, I had to sign off on that version as publisher on that song, and I had some experience with other rap artists, like I guess I can mention them. Blue Tribe, for instance, who had tried to put out Raid, and but it was about, you know, a lot of stuff you see now that would have been very negative, and I would hate to have my record tied to it in any kind of way. The lyrics, spraying the dance floor and, stuff like that. That was where they were coming from. So I had to respectfully decline their usage for that song. And but with Coolio, I gave him a lot of credit. He came with something that was relatable to a vast number of people. It's the only rap song, or the earliest rap song I heard in a parade, and something that could be something that could be American, something that could be apple pie in a sense, in the real sense of the word, that everybody could share. And he made really, it was just a mini record, about 3 or 4 different versions of the one record, and it blew up for him. So when I heard that, I was like, for him to get a set aside, we participate, and we just reduce and allow him in. Yes, okay, we can do this. We can do this, and we did. It's All the Way Live after that with Coolio, and sort of motion picture Eddie with Goldberg. And he did a video off of that, which was also a lot of fun. But it was during that period of time that we were definitely in transition, and old school and rap had taken over more or less, and it did propel us back to a place where people recognize really comparison, and that's what they did. A lot of Coolio, they thought they took it from us somehow or something. You see, whereas we were the few groups who did have our, rights in some type of order to be able to take care of ourselves from that standpoint. So it wasn't that type of situation at all for everybody out there. It was a great thing. He's a beautiful cat, nice family. He treated my family very well. Great guy. Hello, Coolio.
Well, yeah, obviously you had a big effect on him, and a lot of people over the years you guys influenced. And Mark, I wanted to get your sense as to what you think, I guess, of the guys that are out there now, doing that same kind of thing, maybe like a Bruno Mars or, Justin Timberlake. I guess it's kind of slim pickings for funk music these days.
Well, I really highly respect, artists that are out here, Bruno, and even some of the guys earlier, but Bruno Mars in particular is a superstar, is a strong act, and he really takes a lot of what Solar was about. You hear the influence, and I hear the influence, like you said with Coolio too. You could hear the influence of that stage of the music in their music now to bring about this. I don't know what to call it. Is old school rejuvenation or something, where it's got to have that real with it. It can't just be rap. It can't just be a quick song with a hook. Well, they got to kind of encompass rap and sing, and then a lot of things like that. That these songs do possess. I'm personally looking into the situation because sometimes these songs are very close to other songs in some of the early songs that we wrote, and so some things you have to look at and just make sure. But some things sound mighty similar in some ways, and are clever still. So you have to be very careful out here. But taking nothing away from great records, and these guys are out here performing. The Weeknd as his own thing happening. They're doing a lot of sampling, a lot of using the harmonizer. All these guys, to make their voices more or less perfect. But don't get caught up too much in that profession. I would say that, and I would say Kendrick has mastered that. Not getting too caught up in that perfection that you lose how you're feeling and sounding good and being natural. And he's done a fine job of doing that from what I've heard of his music. But there's so much good stuff out here now, and independence has opened up such a wide wonderful market for artists to reveal themselves. If they don't sell one record, at least they get to reveal what's on their mind. You know, what an artist should be able to do in America.
Mark, it's great that Lakeside is still out there. I know you're playing shows, as you mentioned. Do you have anything else, maybe in the works, or maybe some new music or anything like that on the way?
Yeah, well, certainly. We just finished out here this weekend here in Redondo Beach, California, and down in Santa Maria for a couple of shows. Doing the next shows in Memphis. Been in the studio working in the laboratory on stuff, stuff that can hopefully change the course of human events. That's what we want to really do with music. Is give something else to think about, something to kind of put on the mind. And you see, they're very impressionable. You can see by the things that are happening with President Trump, that a lot of people can sway very easily depending on what is filtered into their stream, And I believe that that works both ways, and I intend to try to do my part to make sure the positives coming in at the same time. I want everybody to know to go to the website, too, LakesideCaptainMarkWood.com. Lakeside Captain, that's CAPTN, like Captain Crunch or something. So LakesideCaptainMarkWood.com, or Lakeside Mark Wood usually brings it up, like Abe Lincoln or something.
Awesome. Again, Mark, I am a huge fan, and it's been an honor speaking with you today. Thank you so much.
Sure, Dustin. Man, it's nice talking to you. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we got it in because I was going to be on the road 10 minutes and it would have been much more difficult, okay?
Well, yeah, again, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, God bless. Have a great day. And like I said, the only way we're going to ever get back is people give us a spin because we got the music, but we can't accumulate the radio stations. You understand? That's really our R&B's problem. That Dick actually really saw this too. Dick really saw that we needed a Grand Ole Opry style situation, such as the BMA, which he tried to create, which he did create, but like the CMA in country music, and it's something that was kind of still around for us to try to do something about because we have no collectivity, no collective time where the radio is concerned and how to bring things forward. We just haven't developed like other parts of the business have.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'll definitely do what I can for you. No doubt.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. God bless. Have a great day, okay?
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Okay, Dustin.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye now.